Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Seattle Home Series weekend. We've got a lot to cover, and today I'm skipping introductions. I want to get right into it because a lot of stuff has gone down. I want to talk about the Huntsmen. I want to talk about Pristini in, Gunless to the bench. Joe, start us off. What are your thoughts on this big move?
It's all about really the vibes, right? The twins are back together. You got the duos. You have Envoy. And yeah, man, he's going to bring a lot of pace, a lot of pressure to this team. It's going to be a ton of fun to watch. Can't wait to see what these guys bring this weekend. All I know is he is absolutely going to help the likes of Envoy and Scump.
I would think so. He's going to be flying around the map. Nameless, for you, is this going to be an easy transition or going to need a bit of work?
It's sort of a question mark right now, but if I were to predict, I think it should be pretty easy. He's a player who, on his teams, he's not very outspoken. He'll do what the team needs him to do. And like Joe said, he plays at an incredible pace that's going to allow Scump and Envoy to play a lot better. I think just the vibes that Pristini is going to bring to this roster could actually make them better. I do think Gunless is a better player, but Pristini, for this team, could make them a lot better simply because of vibes.
Well, we're going to see. I mean, it's been the talk of Reddit, the talk of Twitter, everyone wondering how this team is now going to do. The new look Huntsman, and our very own LVP had a chance to sit down with Pristini. Let's hear what he had to say.
I think it's pretty easy, especially knowing that, you know, I'm coming into a team that has a lot of support, but at the same time, a lot of people would probably feel pressured in this situation. Not for me though. Maybe back then, like probably a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I would have been, maybe even like half a year ago, honestly. I don't feel pressure at all. I mean, I know no matter what, even if I drop a 0.9 or even if I drop a 1.0, like, as long as I'm winning, I don't care, you know. So if I'm dropping a 0.9 and I'm still getting like roasted or whatever by the community and I'm getting carried, whatever, I don't care. As long as I'm winning, I won champs last year and people still said I got carried and whatnot. But I mean, I did my job on the map and that's all that matters. So as long as I'm coming out with the win, I don't really care.
Pristini is hungry. He's hungry to compete again, but it is different when you're playing for one of these big teams. You're playing for, former OpTic or the Lakers or the Yankees. There's a whole different type of pressure that comes with it. We know that Pristini has maybe struggled with mental toughness a bit in the past. We're going to take a look at his stats, Joe, but is the Huntsman fan base and Pristini something to worry about?
Absolutely, 100%. He's just been tough on himself, right? And I respect him for what he did. He knew he wasn't in a good place. He put himself to the bench. Now he has a new opportunity, but it's not easy. This fan base expects wins, and if they're not winning, he's going to hear a whole lot about it.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit worried there too. And we're going to take a look at the game fuel. We're going to take a look at the CDL points, just where we are. Like who's sitting at the top, who's sitting at the bottom, where we are heading into this weekend. But if I could hear from you real quick, your thoughts on that too, with just the fan base and Pristini.
Yeah, I think it's a big problem for him. He's going to have to get over that. And I think it's not just him, though. His teammates have to back him up. They have to give him a lot of reassurance. You talked about a 0.9 in that interview. That's not a bad KD whatsoever. So for that to even get at him a bit, like, you can see that he has issues with fans coming at him and talking to him about how he performs in games. So it's something he has to get over. But with his brother on this team being the glue to this roster, they have to give him reassurance and back him up when the times get tough.
It's true. Maybe that'll help, but that'll be the CDL points presented by Game Fuel. And now, I mean, some people have asked, if you didn't start at the beginning of the year with the format and everything, how does this all work? What are all these home series events for? What are the points for? Well, it all leads into the CDL championship, and some news about kind of format and prize pool breakdown came out just a couple of days ago. Joe, can you kind of walk me through that?
Yeah, so if you place top 2, you're in a very good spot. You're going to be automatically put in a winner's round 3. That's only 9 maps to win the entire thing. If you get 3rd, 4th, you'll be in winners round 2. The rest from 5 through 8, they will be placed in winners round 1. And then 9 through 12, that bottom 4, you will start in losers round 1. One match and you're out. But the good thing for them, right? The good thing for them is, 100 Thieves, they did it last year. Nameless and myself, we've done it where you start in losers 1, you can end up in a final. Anything can happen.
Well, anything is possible, but yeah, you talked about, you guys had that run in Ghost. You guys have had some crazy runs, but not quite with this prize pool.
Yeah, this amount of money is insane. I mean, these guys are obviously getting paid well. You see the Louis bags, the shoes, the sneakers, the clothes, all the drip. But hey, man, $2 million, $2 million. That's so much cash. I've seen so many tweets out of these players saying they're playing no other games and they're focusing up. Interested to see how the individual performance of these players improves going forward.
It's life-changing money, man. And it seems to be becoming all the more real as we're right around the halfway point of this season. But I want to focus now on this weekend. I want to talk about the Seattle home series and specifically day one today, Friday. Let's take a look at our schedule, our bracket, and how we're going to be getting into things. And Joe, I know you talked about this a bit on Hard Points, and we do picks every week, but this was one of the harder tournaments to pick for the groups.
Yes, it was. You know, you have a lot of teams who are sort of in the middle of the pack right now. You have some teams who are turning things around. You look at your optics, you look at New York, Minnesota. They had one bad home series. Can we trust them? You have a wounded Chicago, and what I mean by that is you just have a brand new player. It's going to take some time for things to mix. So it's going to be a very interesting weekend because you don't have the likes of Dallas here. You don't have Atlanta FaZe.
Well, that is going to be your U.S. Army schedule, and I want to take a look at the Game Fuel marquee match. That's going to be the home team, the Seattle Surge, going up against the surging New York Subliners. That should be one incredible match. I'm really excited to see how that one's going to play out. But Ant, any just quick thoughts on the overall schedule today? Any big picks for you?
Surge is going to win it all. I'm sticking with my pick. They're going to win it all. Karma tweeted out last night, or maybe it was early this morning. Who knows when he went to bed. He said, I need a W. He's coming out firing. Right. He's going to be hot. He got Enable back. They're winning. Calling it.
Okay, well, the first match we're going to have is going to be Huntsmen versus Legion. Joe, that's the one we're going to be calling. I want to get right into the Game Fuel keys to victory. We're going to start it off with the Huntsmen. Nameless, for you, what were your big points?
Proceed to have a good first showing and gain confidence. He's a player who plays well with momentum. We just talked about it. He wears his heart on his sleeve. When he starts off hot, he continues to play well throughout that. He needs reassurance from his teammates. It's not all on his shoulders. Obviously, he has world champions across the board next to him, but they have to reassure him and put him in a position to succeed. So that's what Prasini needs to do. Just have a good first showing.
And on the other side of this matchup, the Legion, who started strong, there was a point in which we had them as like a top 4 team. Since then, they've slid a little bit. What do they need to do to get back on top?
Yeah, for Paris, they were so good when we started the season, and it was Kismet and Zed just playing super aggressive, and we've seen the meta has pretty much stayed the same. Your SMGs have to be on point, pushing up, getting those kills, and their statistics just were awful at the last event. Kismet and Zed both massively underperforming, and versus a team like this with Envoy, Pristini, and Scump, they have to be on point, so I'll be looking at those two guys to step it up.
Well, we'll see if they can bounce back, but now let's take a look at the U.S. Air Force maps and modes. This is going to highlight our best of 5 and what maps we're going to be going to throughout this. First to take 3 maps, we'll take the series. Joe, is there anything that stands out for you?
Games 1 and 3, both very good maps for these. You look at a Zero Cave Hardpoint, 5 and 1 for Chicago, 4 and 3 for the Paris Legion, and then we go to that Dom on Gunrunner. Paris are 6 and 2, but the Chicago Huntsmen undefeated. So I'm looking at games 1 and 3.
Well, those will be the big ones. This should be one hell of a series. Nameless, for you, thank you for joining us on kind of the pre-show as we roll into it. I'm sure we'll see you a little bit later on the show, but I hope you have a fantastic day, Ant.
Thank you. Likewise. Enjoy it, guys.
Thanks, buddy. All right, Joe, it's time to kick off day 1 of the Seattle home series event. Huntsmen Legion starting it off. I know we saw the Game Fuel keys to victory, but I guess for you, anything big to add to this matchup?
Well, let's bracket up as this game loads on in.
Get in, baby.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this matchup, I really like what Ant said. You know, when you talk about Paris Legion, you really have to focus on Kismet and Zed. They have to be more consistent. They have to be, you know, the pace for this team. And if they do have a good series, this could be a tough one for the Chicago Huntsmen. These guys have played twice, and it hasn't been a 3-0. It's been a 3-1. It's been a game 5. So I think Paris is pretty confident in this matchup.
For the Huntsmen, though, what is your maybe biggest fear with a lineup change happening this week?
It's just this game, there is a lot of nuances, and if you are not on the same page, if there's a few cracks in the wall, some teams like New York, some teams like OpTic, who are starting to figure it out, they can beat you. You know, no matter the talent, the teamwork will be there. So we'll just see how fast they can put it together.
Well, we're into our first hard point, and you know, you kind of touched on the fact that you thought this is really going to help Envoy and Scump with Pristini in the lineup. Can you kind of elaborate on what you meant by that?
He is fast. He is normally the first guy in, and when you have that first guy in, guess what? He's going to get shot at first, right? So he's a bit of a bait, right? Like, he's your entry guy, so you can follow him up, and it just makes it a little bit easier knowing you have a player that'll do that for you. That allows the game to come to you a little bit quicker. So I think this will help a lot, as we already see Pristini flying into yellow. he will get taken down. And Paris Legion with 15 seconds left on this center hard point. They're going to focus on this rotation over to East Cave.
And we'll see how long they can hold this setup. It's Envoy now, trying to look for the break around the back. Dead Silence currently Pop looking for an opening, but one player he has to deal with back here. I think that's Røkkr that's going to be tracking back, just trying to hold this outpost side, and he does a fantastic job of that. So Cliffside clear for now. A moment for Legion to get set up. Let's see how many points they can earn.
Yeah, Chicago had to be quick here. I mean, look at their position. They are stuck on the cliff side. And so if they don't get kills, well, the spawns come in. Even with Røkkr's position, the spawns still are there for Chicago. But it's 20 seconds off the hill already. Paris has gotten that time, but Formal, Pristini, and Envoy all find kills, and that will be the break. A job well done by Chicago. I thought Røkkr's position was going to help them, but doesn't really matter.
So Huntsmen with a huge break, and they're able to get on through. Scump with the hip fire. Now able to connect, and it's Pristini patrolling that mid cut that's able to take another one down. On the rotation to Broken Building, already set up for field. You see Din's ready to go. Legion trying to disrupt whatever time they can these final moments, or at least keep the spawns deep for Huntsmen, and they're doing a good job of that.
Yeah, they are, and they've been on rotation, you know, both hills already. They've won the rotation. Chicago now they have to try to push on up as RC, some nice shots on the Røkkr, will take him down. But again, we're going to be 15-20 seconds into a hill, and Chicago hasn't had any pressure yet. As Zed inside yellow, able to find 2 kills. You do have Envoy though, right? He's just been that route player for the Chicago Huntsmen, going on a big flank. What kind of plays can he make?
Cleans up mid-map. Now the flank through Spiral. He'll try to find more. I think he cut right under Zed. He might have actually got through. I thought he was spotted, but maybe he doesn't. Able to get a kill, finesse away. Drop shot not quite on point, but his teammate will clean it up. 20-point advantage still for Legion. But scrap time here inside field as Huntsman trying to collect as much as they want. But there's a big battle going down now for the next hard point. It's Zed that's going to be in a position to deal with this. We'll pop out the mini-map. Right next to him are Arcitys and Envoy looking to pounce. Zed is just tucked away, looking for a freebie from this spot. Will they sniff him out?
Able to connect on the one. Not able to find the second, but we talked about Zed, right? That was one of the keys to victory for Paris. Already a great start, 13-6, but he is known. Remember last year in Black Ops 4, game 1, map 1 hard points. At times, it just feels like he explodes early on in the first half, and then he slows down. So pay attention to Zed's performance. We'll see what he's able to do. When you look at the Chicago side, a very slow start for basically everyone besides Formal and Envoy, and they're only down 30 points, but that lead should grow. But this is finally the first hill when we rotate to Cliffside where it feels like Chicago should have this setup, because the 3 prior all went the way of Paris.
Well, if they didn't get that break, if there wasn't that blunder with Cave Side East, I mean, you might only have 30 points on the board for Huntsman. It has not been pretty out the gate at all. This time, though, as you mentioned, what can they do with the early rotation? Finessing around yellow will be Pristini. Finally, he's going to get cut down, and it'll be his twin Arcitys that's there to pick up the angle from this top Broken Building. They've got position, but as Scump drops, that might be an opening for a moment. That's going to be the floodgates now opening in front of Formal. He's going to get smoked as Zed takes down 2 big entries to get towards this hard point. Here comes the collapse from Legion.
Yeah, I thought Pristini, Arcitys, if he doesn't find that kill out front, the pinch was there. But now Paris in the back. Røkkr's going to fly in. Nice shots on Envoy. That hip fire connects. Nobody in the hill right now. It's a fight on both sides. Arcitys watching over his brother. I'm sure he loves hearing that, as he's going to get that hill time. He slides out through the smoke, able to connect. But yeah, I mean, once again for Paris, you're at least able to break his setup and make this messy.
Each team now with 1 big break, but Legion with all the early setups still going to be enjoying a nice lead. Zed's kept it rolling. He's at 17-10. Still pretty similar on the scoreboard for Huntsman as you highlight. A couple players hovering around even, but nobody really looking great considering the talent on this roster. But there's still a lot of time left in this map that they can get it going. Now as we get into our second set of rotations, it'll be the Huntsman in first, looking to pick up as much of this crucial time as they can. Behind the trophy, it'll be Pristini, and now soaring in, it'll be Legion. How much can Pristini deal with? Here they come swarming through. It's Envoy that's looking over him. Snapping into yellow is Pristini, but not quite able to hit the shots. No one in the hard point for now.
Yeah, Envoy just trying to get yellow control. He knows if they have this position, they can earn a lot of time. Runs out of ammo, gets the reload, able to find it, finds number 3 as well. It's going to be all 5 dead, and he is sprinting, tack sprint out, trying to get through. He may have found a timing as well. He has the help of Pristini, but Envoy does get taken down by Røkkr. But look at the scoreboard. A great hold. Probably their best hold on that middle village and hill number 1. Able to tie this up.
When you said he might hit a timing, I'm like, I think he hit a timing to fight 4 people because they were all tracking back. Like, he almost got through, but there were just so many people on the mini-map for Legion that were trying to get in that position. Now, last time, this is where it fell apart for them, in the back, and it's Envoy once again that's in this spot. It looks like almost an identical break. This feels like deja vu, but it's Zed who goes huge again. Zed locks it down, kills both in the back. The spawn no longer there for Huntsmen. They're spawning out back towards mid. That's a wondrous play there. I think it's Zed with 2, Dins with 2. The Huntsmen push thwarted.
Yeah, and again, yeah, you have the close spawns, but even with the close spawns, you still have to run through like 2 very narrow hallways, right? It's still difficult at times to break the hill, and we just saw that. So even with hill control Paris, they're able to rebound, they're able to find the kills, they're able to get those close spawns, but Scump with the big 2 kills, that'll keep Paris off of it, and it'll keep them off the time, and well, they're going to focus on rotation. So the rest of this scrap time should go the way of Paris. Now up to a 40-point lead. Persini's going to get a little bit aggressive. He doesn't want them to have it. He does get taken down. Already up to 24 deaths for him. Round night 10. We need to see him to start to turn it around.
Well, can't be too surprised he's got the most deaths in the lobby. That sounds
sounds about
like
right.
what you were expecting for how fast he's going to be playing. But you would think with that, I mean, what you want to see on the other side of it is a big game from Envoy, a big game from Scump. And we haven't quite seen that yet, but as I say it, Scump now on 5 in a row. Arcity's starting to heat up as well as he gets a lovely double. Formal then through on the flank, takes down 2 as well. Now everyone's spawning out again from Legion as that's another all 5 down. With the time remaining on this hard point, we might see the first lead for the Huntsmen since what, the break?
Yeah, since the break. And again, this isn't an easy map for Submachine Gun players. It's just not. If you constantly have to fight against rotation, there's a lot of timings that couldn't go your way. As a little picture-in-picture as we're checking out the rotation. The Paris Legion, they get set up all the way over there. You see all the white arrows. Well, Scump's gonna need the rest of that time. A lead change is gonna be coming through. I like that a lot, Maven. I like that. Look good.
Yeah. I'd like to see some more use of that. That was quite sexy, Joe.
Yeah, just like you. Here we go.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. I think it's the baldness that really brings out the best in me. But Legion now back in front, in control of Caveside East. Is Scump through on the collapse. Zed can't hit the shot. Scump looks to punish. Scump looks to punish. Scump looks to punish as he chases him around the truck, but his teammate now able to pick it up. There's the slide cancel, and there's the shot. Scump lighting up all of Legion as he makes the play. 35 seconds still on the hard point. Legion gets cleared out. What a big play from Huntsman now to get in.
Yeah, if Huntsman end up winning this map, you look at that play right there. That big pinch from Scump, able to make it as his teammates hit the front of the hill. A huge break now with 20 seconds left. You also see the right side of the mini-map as we rotate over to Cliff Path. They're already in that position. It was just perfect timing. You see, while you still have a lot of players negative, it just feels like they're starting to heat up a little bit more, right? You had Scump on a 5, then Scump on a 4. They're starting to work their way back towards even, as Formal has had just a solid game throughout.
To the next hard point we go. Scump with the world in front of him. Shocks will shut him down. Remember last time Huntsman had the early setup here, and it was Zed. I think they got 2 instantly. He kind of broke the early control, and it was Legion that were able to flood on in. This time, can Huntsman do a better job of holding as the lead pushes near 20 points? Dan's looking for some kind of opening, but Formal not giving him anything. It's all headshots for Huntsman as they lock it down. The pressure comes forward. Arcides lines them both up. Arcides gets the trophy out, and Arcides looks to lock down the hard point. They can win it here with a solid hold. This likely the last push for the Legion as they look to surge on through. Scump able to stay up at least for a moment. Pristini now to that mid-cut. 3 points needed for Huntsman, and it looks like they've done it. The final huge hold in for Huntsman. Map 1 win on the board. And that's one, Joe, in which they trailed for a majority of the game.
Yeah, you just look at those last 2 hills. I mean, Cave West, right? You rotate so early if you're Paris. You gave up the final 20 seconds at field. They go all for it. And what ends up happening is that breaks down. It breaks apart very quickly. Scump's able to make a huge play. And yeah, then from there, they have a very tough rotation. It is tough to break that cliff, and they try to go through the middle of the tunnel a few times, but the kills come in for Chicago, and it ends up being a 50-point win. It was just clean the last like 2 to 3 hills for the Chicago Huntsmen.
And that's something I feel like we haven't seen a lot from them in hardpoints recently. Not that that was the prettiest map. It wasn't a blow up by any means, and they had their struggles. But as we take a look at the stats, it was clean when it needed to be, right? Like in the clutch, when they had to go huge, when they had to be bright, they were able to do that. So the first map, the first official map at a home series event with Pristini in the lineup, results in a map W. We'll see if that trend will continue over the course of this best of 5, but what a hard-fought map one it was, Joe.
Yeah, it was very back and forth, and one of the guys I pointed out is Ed, right? Like, he ends up being around even. Still a very solid map with his sub, but like when we were on early on and they had the lead, he was double positive, and that's just what we've, I don't know, right? Remember all year last year with reciprocity, that just felt like it was their formula. Like, they had such a hot start right out of the gates, and then something happened, like the back half of the second map of play, like we just saw Scump able to make it. It broke them down. So we'll see if they bounce back, but Chicago, a nice win for them.
Yeah, there's like players historically that I just remember seeing, not historically, but just like in the past, like I don't know, Blast is someone that comes to mind. Like all these times I'd see him start like +10 and then he's even by the end. Like some people just a little bit streaky on the map, but I do want to take a look at the quick scope now for this particular matchup, taking a look at both teams side by side and how they stack up against each other. This is the quick scope presented by U.S. Air Force. Obviously, lopsided as Huntsmen have been one of the top teams in the game. But what a big weekend this is for Legion, man. They could really use some CDL points, Joe.
Yeah, and I think you talked about it before we got this match started. This was a team who, right out of the gates, it just felt like they figured out. Like, Dens was playing at an insane level. They were beating teams we didn't expect them. We thought this was going to be one of the bottom, like, 2-3 teams, and they weren't. They were like a top 4, top 6 team early on.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we just need to see them turn around once again, because it feels like the teams have caught up to them, and now they have to make a response.
Well, I do want to take a look now at our roster cards. Didn't have a chance to hop in it before that best of 5, but this is a new looking roster card for the Huntsmen, and that's what all the chatter in the week leading up to this event has been about. Pristini N. And you saw that emotional moment between the twins when they matched up at, well, what event was that when they first played?
Atlanta, yeah.
At Atlanta. What an emotional moment it was. You saw the mom in the crowd, and it was tough to watch. There were tears shed, and it's just really, really cool to see them back together. And I know with the United team and their teams in the past, it wasn't always incredible moments. There were ups and downs, but when the ups were there, Joe, it was incredible. I mean, you're talking about world championship wins, championships at majors. Like they've done it all, man.
Yeah, and then on the other side, you have the Paris Legion. You have the trio from the Down Under, who have been around for forever, joined by Kismet and Zed, who I think really had breakout years last year. And again, they had a great start to the year, really surprised a lot of people. Now it's just, can they turn it around?
Well, for you, like with them turning it around, like I think I touched on this last week on Hard Points, where I guess I became concerned that it was one of those situations we've seen time and time again where the team learns the game a little bit faster. They come out the gate and they seem to be a little bit ahead of people, but they lack the talent. And when people start to catch up to them with the strats and the in-game knowledge and knowing what to do in certain situations, they kind of fall to the wayside. Are you worried that's the case here, or can this team with this core 5 improve?
I think they can improve. I thought at the Florida home series when we last watched them, it was just a mistake. They switched the Dens role, right? They gave it to Luka as the main AR when Dens has been one of the best main ARs that we've watched all year. So we'll have to see if they can go back to that. I mean, Dens did have a very solid map, number 1. So I just think they have to, stick to their guns, and I think they have the talent to compete in this league, absolutely.
It's Luka now with the snipe. Envoy looking for the angle. Shots on point. Envoy able to hit. RC's in a one-on-one of his own, and that's a great start for the Huntsmen. 4v3. Quickly a 3v3. You've still got Envoy on the top of the map. Is Pristini able to get it done with the pistol? There should be a big one-on-one over here. I believe Scump is going to have the angle in just a moment to take out Luka.
Yeah, he's able to find it. Now it's all up to Kismet in a 1 versus 3. He has Dead Silence available, but it's, do you want to sort of burn it or save it for the next round? He's just going to aim walk around. Envoy's just on the other side of the car. Plus, you have Pristini all the way in the back. Should be looking over him. pretty soon, and that's going to be a freebie. Bristini's going to clean it up, but I like that from Paris. They tried switching it up, right? Going at that B site really fast. Because what do we see a lot of the times on this map? Because we've been seeing more and more lately is teams slow it down. They fight for mid-map control. They try to catch the defense on rotation. But Paris right out of the gates, they try to throw smokes middle. They had the opportunity. I mean, if Pristini loses that gunfight with the pistol, it's a 3v3 and they have a lot of position. So I didn't hate that offense from Paris.
Huntsmen get the round. Pristini with 2 kills, and now offense over to Huntsmen. It looks to be a quick mid to A, but there is a 4-man stack here from Legion. There should be action nearly instantly. Here they go. It's Envoy now with the trade. RC's in with the trade as well as they follow on through. 2 players down from either side. Pristini with another big one-on-one win to give them the numbers.
Farino start. Enzo with some nice shots with that M4 just as he finishes reloading. Gonna make this a 2 versus 2. Bomb in a tough spot. Yeah, Luca's gonna spot RC's. The shots go in. Formal's trying to make the play with Dead Silence, but he's ready. The nade connects. And Paris Legion gonna tie this up.
That's a nice, 2v3 clutch that they're able to come up with. Din's a big factor there, and then the read as well on Formal as he hits Dead Silence. Din's just goes huge to tuck that round away for Legion. You think this will be one of the harder modes to get things right for Huntsmen with a recent change?
I mean, anytime we talk about a roster change with Search and Destroy, there's just so many timings and nuances, right? Incorporating strategies. You're just learning. It's very much a learning process, but we have seen before where you just slot one guy in and that mode instantly becomes better. It absolutely can be something, but you would expect it to be a little bit slower than normal.
Envoy, I believe, got some poor timing. I think Risey looked behind him and switched back to continue pushing. It's Luca that gets the angle to take him down. So 5v4 for Legion. Is the offense for a moment at a standstill.
And this is what we typically see on offense, right? Just sort of fight over mid-map control, because what are the players in A thinking? Like, how do you do we wrap back and help B if it's a B hit? The 2 players at B are so separated, so if Paris wants to go, they basically have a 2 versus 4 inside the A site, and that's going to be the call.
Here they go. Trying to get through. Scump and Pristini stand tall, and they're able to hold on for now. The numbers for Legion quickly dwindling. Shocks and Dens will be the last ones up. Trying to make the play into the A site. His bomb is down at the archway. Den's now by himself in a 1 versus 3. He was the hero of round 2. Can he pull off another clutch? The problem is he's only got 15 seconds to work with, but he reads it right again. Unfortunately, it's just the toe of Scump he's able to spot. Then it's Arcides on the bomb site with the gunny. 2-1 Huntsman.
Yeah, it just starts with Pristini and Scump inside the site, just sort of being that wall that they needed to be. They saved onto their nades as soon as Paris Legion get into that storage room. The nades come in. The players stand at a halt. That buys enough time for the rotation through archway to come through. Nice defense.
How can they do it on offense? It's the Twins right now. 4-2 for Arcides. 4-2 for Pristini. As they lead the way. Well, the trophy goes out right as the stun connects.
It's all good. He's got it out. It's no problem. Yeah. Here you have a 4-1 split for Paris. You have Zed watching mid-street. But this round could be decided by Luca and what he's able to do. Can he take 1 or 2 with him? Formal's just trying to stun check. Pristini trying to stay alive. Will that car blow up? Nope. He's going to stay alive and get away with his life. But Luca does the same on the other side.
And he's going to back all the way up to this deep pocket behind B. Now with 40 seconds to go, Huntsmen have got to think about how they want to attack this. Bomb in the hands of Arcides. They're now looking for an opening. 4-man hit starting to come through. Out the door goes RC. Scump gets into play as well, and Formal just rip Shocks out of the window. The smoke, a clearance for them for now. They've gotten onto the site.
You have Envoy. He was basically doing what Luca was doing last round, but Luca got caught by Formal. Can Envoy win that? He's going to win it. He's able to get through the archway. Well, his teammates are there to back him up. A nice offensive win, but that's what we typically see on offense, right? You take mid cafe control, then you can just sort of split on each side, but it starts with that first blood from Formal. He gets that on the, who is that? Shocks in the top window. If Shocks is able to win that and hold that position with the M4, that could be a tough round for the Huntsmen, but instead, Formal's able to win it.
Yeah, he drops, and at the same time, all boxes getting flooded by Huntsmen. How quickly that seemed to unravel for Legion. Now a 2-round lead for Huntsmen. On defense, on offense, Luka will have the sniper out, trying to find an angle. May have spotted one mid tracks, but he's going to get away through the smoke for now. Looks like a 1-4 split. What kind of a 3-1-1 is you do have Formal patrolling mid map behind those smokes.
Envoy's going to be the key. As the push comes in, Formal, he's going to rotate back. It looks like Paris is just trying to catch Envoy, and Shocks is able to do so as they jump through the middle. RC's, though, I think that was a snipe on a Luka. A nice headshot, and Formal's being a sneaky beaver in the corner.
He can't take any more with him, though, but he's done his job. 3v3, under 40 to play. Formal already dropped. Pristini going to get caught on the edge as well.
Oh, Scump got bad timing. I mean, if Scump is able to catch that, that's the bomb carrier. He will spot Den, so able to make it a 2 versus 2, but the bomb is rotated, and Shocks, he's going to close the door and reposition.
Now the retake for Huntsman. RC's and Scump up against Shocks and Zed.
I think they're just trying to find RC's a gun, so he's going to find that M4.
That's helpful. Nice job being able to stay up, get some information. The bait and switch is there, but Zed going to take the fight as he gets involved in the action as well. Scump, though, turns into a one-on-one. Just about 15 seconds to go, and Scump rips him. A big 1v2 clutch for the king. Scump gets the win.
Close the door and play the time. There's 15, 20 seconds left. You're in a 1 versus 2. Close the door and play the time.
Yeah,
Make
Scump
it
said,
tough
knock,
for him.
knock.
Just reposition. He's got to defuse it. Like, after this point, why even still here? Rotate back, Shocks. Just rotate. Play up top. You have the M4. And, well, Scump, he reads that one so darn well. Able to clutch it out.
We had the 2v3 clutch for Legion earlier. Now the answer from Huntsman. There's the 1v2 for Scump, and gives them a commanding 4-1 lead in this game 2 search and destroy, looking to go up 2-0 in this best of 5. Scump now 6-2, triple positive in the map. Envoy right up through the smoke, still has Dead Silence to work with as well. Pristini just lying in wait, looking to pick one. It's Kisman on the opposite side, basically doing the same thing. Just posted up. Who's going to move first, Joe?
Well, Envoy is trying to sneak into a position and has been. It looks like he will. Forma's going to call one out. Zed's going to get away with that stun, and I think this is on the Envoy. What can he find? He's given his team all this information. I mean, now they can start moving on the map, but Den's in that deep pocket is able to catch RC's top middle.
And Luka still sitting all the way back behind the B site. He's going to try and nade onto it. Yells, I need help. Formal going to be so big in this round as he's holding mid, but he's going to get flanked. Kismet able to drop him. Looking like a good round here for Legion as they have the 5-3 advantage. Surely they cannot allow this one to unravel. The 2-man hit comes through. Luka able to take one down. The teammates then there and support. And the defense holds for Legion. A crucial round to keep them in this game too.
Yeah, it starts with that first blood. Nice shots out of Dens. But yeah, you like that, right? Luka's playing his life near the back. There has to be movement on the opposite side of the map, right? And they're able to catch Formal middle, because if Formal's watching that cross, he just gives his team so much information. They know they can just sort of isolate Luka. They can isolate Dens out, but that doesn't happen because the flanks come in, and then it's sort of the Chicago Huntsmen who are in a really tough spot, just caught around the B site.
It's a lovely breakdown there, Joe. Not quite as lovely as RC's pistol, though, as he's able to at least shut down one player. Then it's Scump once again dominating on the site. The finesse is up. The finesse is real, and round he goes. Two are going to drop. Din's the last one up. Envoy now through on the flank, and there's a gimme with the hip fire from the MP5. Quick round to the Huntsmen.
I think one difference when you look at these offenses, especially executing into this site, it could be trophy placement. But every time the Huntsmen, they go towards that site, what do you see? You see 1 to 2 smokes down, right? Like the archways are smoked. They're not able to help. The Paris side, you're seeing nothing in the site. So it could be simply that the Chicago, Huntsmen are, putting down good trophies. Paris, though, it feels like if you want to get that side a little bit easier, you have to make it a little bit more chaotic. Use your numbers, use those smokes.
Huntsmen thriving in the chaos, that's for sure, Joe.
Well, there's smoke.
Varsity's with the first blood. Now it's Envoy to bring one down as well. Formal hits the snipe, 3 down. This looks to be the end of the map too, as it all lies on Dins and Zed to clutch in a 2v5. Bomb is already planted. Zed now all by himself. Zed is dropped clean around for Huntsmen to close it out. They'll take a 2-0 edge in this series. Our point looks solid. Search looks good. So far, so good with Pristini added to the roster.
Yeah, there was just a few rounds from Paris where I think you're just sort of scratching your head, but this was one of Chicago's better maps. We've known that Envoy, this has sort of been his playground. They were 4-1 in this map overall, and it feels like they know exactly what they want to do. And I think the nice thing is they stuck with the formula, right? Like they allowed Envoy to do sort of his thing, and I think that keeps pressure off for Pristini to not always have to be the entry guy. It's sort of nice sometimes when he can pull out an AR and sort of play a different position than what he normally does in Search and Destroy.
Yeah, it feels like they shouldn't have to change too much. Like they had a role issue, right? Like a bit of a role issue, a bit of a lineup that in a different title may have been perfect. In this one, it just wasn't necessarily so. And we can talk all we want about the vibes, and maybe they weren't great, but this just fits a whole lot better. So you would think it shouldn't change a lot for what they need to do. They should just be better at what they already wanted to do. Maybe not to that point yet, but so far, I mean, I like what I'm seeing from the Huntsmen. They're looking strong.
Yeah, all right. I think game 1, there's definitely some things they can tighten up on.
Yeah,
and I think
certainly.
Paris probably think they threw that one away. When they go back and watch it, they'll see a few mistakes, a few things they could have probably got like a lot more points on. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, you win the map.
All right, well, Joe, that's going to do it at least for the first 2 maps. We're getting ready to head to a quick break, but you could also take a look at this new Seattle Surge shirt. It looks awesome. We'll be right back.
Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day with the #1 brand in prepaid. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Time to claim your spot.
This is your Scout Team of the Week, a super team built with 5 top performers at the most recent event. This week, we're picking 5 players from the Florida home series. First up, it's Slasher. Slasher made his first finals appearance of the year in the Florida home series and made plenty of clutch plays all tournament long. He was a beast in search and destroys, dropping double digits in 3 maps and even set the league's new S&D kill record at 16 kills. He earned the 5th highest S&D KD of the event in addition to the 2nd highest overall KD. Next up, it's Mac. The New York Subliners new SMG was a powerhouse slayer during the Florida home series. He was dropping 30 bombs in the respawns like it was nothing and also did major damage in the SMDs, dropping an average of almost 10 kills a game. He led the entire league in average domination kills and had the 2nd highest average kills in hardpoint. For his pure clutch factor, it's Celium. The young flex player just won his 2nd title of the year with the Atlanta FaZe, going clutch in some massive moments in the finals versus OpTic Gaming LA. He managed to clutch a 1v2 in round 11 to steal map 2 of the series, and closed out the series by solo hitting a hardpoint in the final few seconds before rotation, scoring the final 2 points his team needed with only 3 seconds to spare. Fourth, it's Methods of the Toronto Ultra. The Toronto Ultra had their best event yet, making it to the semifinals for the first time this year. Methods played a consistent AR game throughout the event and even put up some big objective time. He led the field in overall KD, S&D KD, and even had the highest average hill time in hardpoint. Finally, it's Sim of the Atlanta FaZe. This is Sim's 4th appearance on Scout Team of the Week. Throughout the event, he played the classic in-your-face SMG role that we've all come to know and love before. But when he got to the finals, he turned into a different animal. OpTic Gaming LA were no easy opponent, but he still managed to score the highest overall KD of anyone in the Florida home series final, logging a KD of 1.37 and a total of 108 kills across 4 maps. That's your Florida home series Scuff Team of the Week.
Hello and welcome back to the Seattle Home Series event. It is day 1 of the event. We're 2 maps into our first best of 5. It's the new look Huntsmen going up against Legion. So far, Huntsmen looking strong. They're able to take the hard point, able to take the search and destroy. Now we'll look to see if they can close it out on the domination. Did you say what it was like 6-0 for Paris on this map though, Joe?
3-0 for Chicago, but Paris is like 6-2. This is where they've had some crazy maps. So as I forgot to turn my light off. But yeah, this is a very solid map for both teams.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. You look beautiful even in the dark, buddy.
I totally forgot, but yeah.
Yeah, no, is that how you met your wife? Was it real dark when she met you, so you couldn't see your actual features?
That's rude. You don't mean that.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's
You know,
really
I
mean.
think I think you're a handsome man, because that's exactly what happened for me, Joe. But we are now going to take a look at the U.S. Army tactical play. It's going to be Scump in the round 5 with the 1v2 as he gets it done. The King on top makes the play, but you seem to be pretty frustrated with how Legion played that.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a great play out of Scump, but it's almost just a big mistake out of Paris in these situations, and sometimes that's just the way it is. I mean, you're in a 2v2 and they play it really well. They sort of bait in the door. Shox is able to put one weak, and Zed knows, okay, here comes the push, and he just rotates on over. Then at that point, I mean, you're at 18 seconds left. It takes 7.5 to defuse. Even if he dies running away up top, there may not be enough time to get on that defuse, and that's just that's a momentum killer for the Paris Legion. One that around you have to win. That's just what it is.
Yeah, they absolutely had to. They weren't able to do it. They ended up getting smoked in the search and destroy. 6-2 victory. Therefore, the Huntsmen. Now we're getting ready to go into Gunrunner. This is going to be domination. This could be the closeout of this series. I think the exciting part of this for fans and for us is just seeing how Huntsmen look on these different maps. So far, so good in the first two. Now, how will they look in the Dom? A good map for both sides. Paris, at one point this year, you know, they touted themselves as the best domination team in the game. They've still been solid Dom. They just haven't been winning many series. But maybe this is where you make a statement within this best of 5 and start to make a run.
Yeah, and what you go to like a Hackney Yard Hardpoint next, and I think that's just a good map for them because that's when you can get the more from your likes of Kismet, your likes of Zed. So we'll see if they can get it there. But yeah, this has been a great map for them all year.
Formal tries to play from the cart. He's going to get chopped down. It's going to be B control now for Legion as Shocks will get right onto the point. 2 players going to surge forward towards that A cap as well, looking to get any kind of pressure there or maybe even a flip. It's going to be Luca that still is in position to make a play. On the other side, capturing C, and with the spawn coming in, that'll be Huntsman that'll get that shut down. But it looks like the flip might be there.
And that's exactly what you want, right? If Chicago's going to put a ton of pressure on C, just go right towards A. They weren't able to get that flip. It looks like the neutral is so close, but the spawns are flipped, so that's great for Paris. You just see Envoy, he spawns all the way out. There's the neutral. Now they just have to try to lock down B, but Chicago, Formal and Pristini are on it. Now you have no flag right now if you're Paris, so this gets a little bit scary.
Yeah, this has been very, very messy in the opening moments, but the control for now will be with the Huntsmen. 2-0 control of this series, looking to end it here. Let's go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with the Huntsmen.
Guys. See. I'll help you with C.
Wait, dead.
There's no C dead.
Nice, good job. I'm pushing out, Matt.
I'm mopping it.
I'm challenging him. He's on Headless, snaking.
One thing green.
Stay down, one shot.
Nothing dark.
Apologies, come back to us. I believe we had a little bit of an issue with the listen-in, but we'll get right back to the call. Just about a 20-point advantage now for the Huntsmen. Still with that CB control. Shocks on C for the neutral for just a moment, but not able to finish it.
Yeah, and this has been a great job by the Huntsmen. I mean, you get a little bit worried when you lose A because that's the strong side, but their CB hold has been fantastic throughout. As another push is coming out of Paris, they're trying to put pressure on as Zed is flanking through middle of the trains. Kismet is behind both of these players. Can Arcedes hold on? He's able to find one. Now here's another big one-on-one, and Arcedes takes down both Kismet and Zed. And now up to a 25-point lead as RC connects with that hip fire.
Yeah, the Merc foregrip is quite good, Joe. Named after you for your dominance.
I wish. That'd be awesome. But no, it is not. It's definitely not.
That thing's insane, though. Absolutely insane. The lead keeps building for Huntsmen. Basically, the opposite sort of what you saw, I think, from the map 1, where Formal was kind of the one consistent. Now it's everybody else picking it up, but who cares when you've got this type of lead? Finally, a 2-cap control, though, for Paris. Legion Zed, once again, in the early going of a respawn, leading the way at 11-7. We'll see if he can keep it up over the course of this map, as now they try to push through bathrooms and put pressure through to Charlie.
I mean, this is a big final minute. If you can get 2 in a neutral to end this half, and then you spawn on the strong side, it's like the lead didn't even matter. So we'll see what they're able to execute. And you can see Chicago, they're playing around C. They know that's exactly what Paris is trying to do. So they all back up. Nice job by Envoy to find 2 as he's having a nice first half. Now I'm going to try to push on over to B. Tenzin Kismet, though.
Teammate.
Yeah, Tenzin Kismet. That was nice trigger control right there, right?
Just
good
I
awareness.
Smoke.
But Kismet
I'm
spawns
100% shooting there.
This is an opportunity if they can hang on to B. Denz and Luca, they do a great job. He's dodging the nades, and they can get some ticks, and that lead is quickly going to disappear.
Yeah, it's about to be non-existent Den's now on 5 in a row. They'll get Charlie back, but the lead now down to just 8 points. What a surge from Legion late into this match. Shocks will drop, but the damage has been done. Will look to be a potential first half blowout for Huntsmen a couple minutes in. It's going to be a very tight race going into the second side. Excellent job from Legion.
I mean, it was just their response right away. Like, Chicago did a great job, but then they just fly through A. They knew that Chicago was putting so much pressure early on. Remember when we saw the Atlanta FaZe, 2 weekends ago at the last home series? It put so much pressure on AC, and the question is like, what do? No matter where you're spawning B, try to get them to spawn C, right? Just continue to flood towards A. And that's exactly what Paris did. I mean, they had to obviously get the kills, and they executed, but that's it. And it looked like it was going to be bad for a few minutes there, but they're able to bounce back. They're able to get A-B control, and then from there, they take that lead down to 4.
Formal, I guess, taking a killing spree into this half. I think he was 4 and 8 when I highlighted it just a couple minutes ago, so he's really turned it around. Unfortunately, the lead has dwindled. Over to Kismet's POV. 3 down for Huntsman. Looking to get the trade inside. Scump will fall as the headshot does come through for Kismet. Early A-B control. Everybody spawning deep now for Huntsman. Could see a lead change here. Legion in a good spot.
I know, this is a little scary for Huntsman. We got Dens with the M4. Back on it. Double positive. This is what we saw early on in the year. So nice shots on the Formal, but the trade is in. And Chicago's trying to fly. But every single kill that Paris gets just staggers this push over and over again. RC's just trying to stay up, and then guess what? Your pressure is already there. Look at Shox' position as he's basically just watching the Huntsman spawn. He's just trying to find a kill. He does that as Scump trying to lock down C to make sure nobody from Paris is able to sneak through.
Pristini, that number 5 on the map, was trying to get through. But it's Kismet now on the flank. They're all lining up for him, able to drop everybody but Pristini. Pristini's still up. Pristini gets a little bit of help, I believe, from Envoy before he drops to a Simtex. 3.5 on the clock to go. Scump looking to make the play. He will capture C. They'll have AB for now. They've got the presence at B as well. So now with CB, how long can you hold on to this, or can you work on the flip? But it's Shocks making a play around tracks.
Yeah, they're not going to hold it for long. They had to put so much resources into defending C. Formal. He may have bought his team some time, and you do have Scump working through pipes. What can he find? He gets taken down by Luka, and then Shocks is getting the cuts. He's cutting off the reinforcements, so they did a lot, but it's not enough. It looks like the Legion are going to be able to recover. Envoy trying to do what he can towards the A flag.
A nice little bunny hop to get through and at least take some focus off of B, but it's not for long. To follow suit then from that position will be Formal following it up. Scump leading the way in front. Pristini tries to slide on through, but Shocks will get the better of him. Lead 11. Now for Legion, as time is dwindling. Huntsman desperately needing a 2-cap. The one guy near it was Envoy, I think, for a moment. He's going to drop as he's now coming off a spawn. They've had to worry about C throughout this. You still got Luka lingering in bathrooms. 2 players over through crates. Like, there's a 3-man stack near bathrooms for Legion just looking to pounce.
It's just when you have like bathroom and pipes control, it's just easy rotation. So it doesn't matter if you're putting a lot of pressure towards C and they're going towards B, because the rotation to B is just so easy. As well, as soon as they get out of middle of the map, guess what happens? Luka just sneaks his way out of the bathroom. He says, I'm going to neutral C. Now Chicago have to back up and worry about it. RC's get so close to that neutral. But Luka just being so annoying, doing such a great job at that C flag. And now look at the lead. Up to 23 points. And yeah, we've seen Paris do this time and time again. An undefeated map for the old Chicago Huntsmen roster. Not looking like it'll be that for this one.
It just seems like from this half, well, and even the final, 90 seconds or so from the first, like, Huntsmen haven't been able to get comfortable. And yeah, this has been a real tough map for RCs too. I mean, he's 9 and 19 right now.
I just fundamentally, when you have A, you have to make sure you play heavy towards it. In my mind, like A is everything on this map. It truly is. And we saw what Chicago did early on in the first half. They tried to go for AC. The problem was they did not keep enough presence towards the A flag. So as soon as Paris recognized what was going on, they just pushed through. There was only 1 to 2 Huntsmen there. They took care of them, and then guess what happens? The spawn flipped because they had the AC hold. Paris got that A spawn. They were able to rebound that, you know, last half of the first round, and they keep 8 the rest of the second half.
Oh, Legion have always been a strong Dom team. They've got a lot of reps on this map, and they show you exactly why. They took advantage of some of the mistakes from the Huntsmen, as you mentioned, and made some plays of their own, but the end story is going to be this series extending, and it's now 5 kills in a row for Shocks, as he's had a hell of a second half. So many multi-kills, a couple of different killing sprees. Din's now on one of his own. That's 5 in a row for him as he'll capture B. But as time dwindles, this map has been done for quite some time. It's a Legion victory, and we can look forward to the next hard point.
And I believe we're going to Hackney Yard. So kind of what we talked about. If Paris Legion had a shot, for me it was to get towards like the back half of the maps, and we're here now because I think this is when you can really unlock the power of the likes of guys like Kismet and guys like Zed.
And that was one of the game fuel keys to victory, right? They had to step up. You feel like on the other side of it, maybe this is a map where Pristini can get unleashed as well.
Yeah.
And really have a strong map here. But why do you think maybe they struggled more on that type of map and mode than maybe they did in the past?
Well, what, Chicago?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that's one of the, you put a new guy in, and domination is tough, like especially Gunrunner. It's just one of those maps where every time you spawn up, you have to know exactly what you and your team are doing. And when you add a new person, that changes at times, right? That person may not know what that team wants to do. So getting everybody on the first page can be tough. As we take a look at the stats, I mean, just a great game overall from the whole team for the Paris Legion.
Well, Legion get the victory, and yeah, I think it's just probably a matter of reps, right? For Huntsman, they're going to get there. They've looked strong in a couple of the game modes, but it's going to take time to really iron out all the kinks that you have now with a new member on the team. Even though you have that history with him and his brother, still a completely different lineup, and there's a lot of work to do, which they're going to, work on it this weekend, work on it through scrims, as they'll get it rolling and look to be the best team in the game if they can get to that point. But it's almost like, I know you want to close that series, you want to go 3-0, and we've given Huntsmen, I want to say, grief at times when they were pushed to like game 5s in series where maybe they shouldn't have in the past. But I guess I'm almost of the opinion right now, an extra map or two isn't going to hurt them.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt them.
In this type of environment, like, get the extra maps. I know I'm almost being hypocritical towards what I've said of them in the past, but it's a different situation right now. Like, more maps in this environment, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where honestly, their vetoes might change, right? Like, maybe they figure out in a week, like Gunrunner, it's just not their map with Pristini. Maybe they have to play more Petra and more Hackney. This is just something that takes time. And yeah, more reps. They're in a good spot standings wise. I'm sure they would love to make that push for top 2. But yeah, I mean, they're still in a very good position right now, up 2-1.
Well, before we get into the map 4, we are going to take a look at our social soundboard, and I'm going to go ahead and guess it's likely a tweet regarding this Huntsman lineup, as we'll take a look at it and see what the fans had to say. But I believe it's about them looking scary. Like, if you go through the first 2 maps, I know it's odd to follow now after the map lost, but through the first 2 maps, they look scary. You got to think the rest of the league is taking notes. The rest of the players are taking note, and that's going to come from Cap Crew 5. He thinks every other CDL team is sweating bullets. This is the Astro social soundboard. Joe, how do you feel about that? Do you think other teams are too concerned with this yet?
I mean, I think everybody knew with this Chicago team that they were going to compete for titles, and they've already won a home series. So I think it's one of the things where they know if Chicago's on point, if Pristini is going to be that guy, then absolutely. I wouldn't say they're like teams like Atlanta and Dallas are sweating bullets, but they're up for the challenge 100%. I'm sure they cannot wait to play these guys. But yeah, I'm excited. If this is what Chicago needed to compete with those guys, it's going to be a fun year.
Now, after reading that tweet, I just feel bad for Envoy. Like, he needs a duo, man, because you have T2P, you have the twins. Like, who's Envoy's guy? Like, it's got to be Cinder.
It's got to be Cinder.
Right? Like,
yeah, you got Envoy.
Maybe they
Cinder.
could become best friends, like golf partners. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're like they're the vocal guys, right? You got Cinder who's vocal, you got Envoy who's vocal. they're like the in-game coaches.
There we go. And Envoy smack dab in the middle of the 2 duos. Oh, never mind. They're separated completely. I looked at that entirely wrong. That would have been kind of nice if it was the twins, and then T2P surrounding him, but that's not the case. But now let's get into the map 4. We'll see if the game fuel keys to victory will prove crucial. Then Zed and Kismet have a massive map. And what can Pristini get done for Huntsmen on something like Hackney Yard? Starting on the strong side, it's going to be Huntsmen.
Well, Luca and Kismet, they're going to find the openers. And they're going to find the early time. Is Envoy the last member up for Chicago? And Kismet's just trying to get aggressive to cut off the reinforcements. Runs out of ammo. You forgot to reload it. That could have been a kill for him. But some early time. As you know what Chicago's going to do. They're going to play really safe. You see Formal really hasn't moved from that spot. Envoy's actually gone on a big flank to try to break this setup. So we can hop to his point of view. Gunfire comes in, and he's going to be the distraction. The knife comes out, but he's not able to connect.
Yeah, he put a whole lot of bullets in walls. I mean, there were walls getting smoked. It felt like he got awkward timing on like 2 or 3 players, and he kept thinking there was somebody top L, but there wasn't, so he's worried about kind of the first gunfight, then snapping back, and just kind of in an awkward spot. But now it's shocked that it's gotten through. Can he impact the spawns? The answer is absolutely not. It takes more than that. It takes a damn miracle if you're going to break tire shop. So 1 point on the board for Huntsman, but now a chance to really put some heavy points through. But that is great from Legion. You take that, what, 41-1? You couldn't ask for much else.
No, maybe like a 44-1. That's about it, right? Just maybe a few more seconds, because we know that tire shop. I don't. At this point, like, I guess you still go for it, right? I mean, you kind of have to, but it's just, we know what's going to happen. They're going to try to put a few smokes down. They're going to try to sneak through, and because we haven't had a spawn update, this is going to continue to happen.
I'm almost down. I think I'm down to just have a gentleman's agreement where we just go ahead and skip tire shop. You just award, let's say, 50 points to the team that wins the coin flip, and then we're good to go. Yeah. That might work out. But Chicago Huntsmen now go out in front. Again, trying to close out the series. I know, apologies, we had a bit of an issue with the last listen in. We're going to give this another shot. We're going to go to an Astro Gaming listen in with Huntsman.
He's front hill.
Got me green crate. Got me green crate.
I'm going for him.
Yeah, we're hitting green crate.
Third Luca, one shot absolute. Full's dead.
Top green dead.
Lucas top 3.
I'm
going for him. I'm dead. Yo, top
top
den. Top
Yeah,
first, guys.
I got out of time.
Bottom right.
Yeah, first.
On time. Bottom right.
One first. I'm getting top bell.
Are you bottom?
They're already green. Green.
Pushing him first. I'm pushing him first, guys.
I'm nading over you, though.
Pushing him first.
Graffiti's done. They're trying to push to B5.
I got first. One more first on me.
Top green.
Green
pillar.
Yo, top
bell.
Yeah,
more than first, yeah.
Did you get the nuke?
Yeah, one's green crate.
Top bell.
On the wall shot.
I need the wall.
Wall shot. I got naded.
Yo,
I'll see the graffiti.
One front hill, one on hold.
We can't.
I got
green crate.
Shot. Yeah, I killed the guy on the wall. Killed the guy on the wall.
I got one. There's one more in here.
Graffiti. Push through.
Top green.
Top green dead.
Bottom hill, guys. I killed top green. Work together, slow down.
Flood this.
Top green peeking.
I had to take the wall.
I'm working tools.
Yo, he's graffiti wall. Weak.
Okay, I'm trying to go top
Stunned.
Their side.
We're looking for shocks. Graffiti.
Graffiti dead.
Graffiti dead.
You heard there. I didn't hear who it was, but kind of work together and slow it down a little bit.
Yeah,
that might be to Pristini a bit. 6 and 14 right now. Obviously, a frustrating map, getting put in the blender a bit. Sometimes you have to slow down, L trigger a little bit more.
Yeah, so I can get into that, right? We talk a lot about Pristini bringing pace and being the first guy in. Sometimes what happens is you get a little bit ahead of yourself, and you know you're not making pushes with your teammates, so the trades aren't coming through. And when that pace is off, that means your pushes are staggered. They still have a 40-point lead, and right before we went into the listen, and Envoy was trying to make the play to flip the spawns, and he did it. But Paris, they're able to bounce back. They had a pretty solid hold at smokestacks, and now they have a chance to get back into the game here at Docks.
Well, one gets beamed right out of the window, and already with yellow control is Arcity, so there is a pinch opportunity if Pristini can work his way through
spawns, actually. Yeah, they got him.
There they go to break in. One player going to be remaining here, I think, right above them. But Formal is in. Scump is in. Formal with the play to take down 2. Doc's control to Huntsman, and what a break it is.
Yeah, it's just a little too easy. I mean, they smoke going cross off. You have Paris spawning off towards the parking lot, and Yeah, one player gets the yellow. I feel like you have to have somebody yellow if you're Paris.
Over to Envoy's POV now.
Yeah, you can see the response. They have to give this up, and you see what Zed does, number 0. He's all the way towards tire shop because he knows at this point they have to worry about that next money hill, right? They have to worry about hill number 2 in trying to get back into the game.
And who's all the way over there? It's going to be Rustini. It's going to have a one-on-one, I believe, with Zed. Just trying to fight for these spawns. Rustini is going to poke out at an inopportune moment. Zed able to drop him, so spawns the Legion for now, but down 85. If Huntsmen aren't going to have spawns, they need to find a lot of this time. Like you saw the 41-1 advantage for Legion the first time through this, but it's Kismet and Legion not only with the spawns, but also with the hardpoint control. As Zed tries to continue to lock it down in this sequence over the next 60 to 90 seconds can be everything for the Legion. It could be a lead change. If they can isolate this and lock it down, also bring it back, but he runs out of ammo, and that's going to be too gifted to Pristini as he's able to close it down. Still going to be shocked inside of the hardpoint for now, but the green arrows are there trying to get through.
This is huge.
But this has still been so big. 5 down now as Legion make the play, and they have the spawns. Oh, I thought for a second maybe Arcees would get forward enough that he would spawn them out, but it's not going to happen.
And Shocks with the knife to end the spree, and yeah, they're able to hold so much time inside a warehouse. You get 30 to 40 seconds, and now you have the money hill at tire shop. Chicago is pretty far forward, but Kismet comes in with a flame, Dens with another one to take down 3 members, and Røkkr is hanging out. And this is where that gentleman's agreement would come into play, Clint.
All sarcasm aside, a big hold here puts Legion right back out in front. Den's trying to hold it, but Scump thought maybe he'd get through for a moment, but his Envoy now peeking in through the windows. Trying to shut down as many as he can, and it just seems like no matter the number of kills, you just cannot get through. Arcees is still here, but every single point thus far has gone to Legion, but it's a melee to the face, almost a stick as well. Arcees gets inside. I know it's only going to be 15 or so seconds, but when you think about the swing, it's about 30 seconds of the overall scoreboard. So a big moment there from Arcees. Huntsman still with the lead.
I mean, you got to think, right? At the end of the first rotation, the Huntsmen were up to about, what, 150, 155? So those first 2 hills were great by the Legion, and now they're only down 24. As we head back to Smokestack, they're right back into this game. Is Røkkr having a huge game, 28 and 16, and happy to see him back on a sub performing this well.
And really, the difference in the scoreline you gotta think is, for the most part, that dock break.
Yeah,
you
100%.
get from Huntsman. That's the biggest moment within this game. If Legion gets set up in that position again and actually hold, more than likely that's going to be their chance to close out the game. But you've got to get there first. We have 20 seconds left on Smokestack, then we'll head over to Office. Inside of Office first, I believe, is going to be Pristini, who's going to get set up low. He's going to have several Legion players to deal with. He deals with one, ends it on a 5 spree, but now he's dropped.
When we got to Office last time, this was almost a perfect hold for Chicago because so many resources from Paris were put into controlling docks. The problem is docks just didn't go their way. Zed and Shocks trying to get in. They found 3 kills, but it's Envoy inside the hill making the play with the Semtex with the MP5. Kismet, well, you stuck the box in front of your teammate. You're going to have to back up.
Several kills through, but one team kill, as you alluded to, for Legion. Still just a slaughter inside the point. It's 4 kills through for Legion. They have the spawns, but up to 218 points is Huntsman. It is all going to come down to docks. This time Legion have got to be better. Last time they basically didn't have yellow control very early, and the spawns came in for Huntsman almost immediately. You got to think someone going to put a little bit more focus into that position on the map. It was Arcees. I think they got to that spot last time through. They take care of top L. Over to yellow goes the entire Huntsman side. Nobody near Office, though, for the pinch, with the parallel spawns already here for Huntsman, and there's already one inside. Envoy goes right through. Envoy cruises on in. Legion still trying to hold on, though.
It's the same thing.
It's nobody yellow.
It's the
There's
same
nobody
mistake.
yellow.
It's the same mistake from Paris. I mean, maybe they're trying to play this differently than what we've seen and really focus on parking lot control, but Chicago threw in one smoke down and just crossed into yellow. This can't happen, Clint. I mean, that's twice. That's literally 2 times in a row.
And that is going to be the decider of this game. The docks holds for Legion simply not good enough. They'll retain control with 20 or so seconds left. And we're not done yet. I mean, Legion can still win this, but that's got to be the highlight of this for sure, as Pristini just smokes Dens off of that box piece of cover, peeks up, and, well, there's the smoke from Kismet as well. 17 points now needed. Back to the first hard point, the third set of rotations we go. It's Envoy getting up top towards the top AC, but Zed able to read it. Zed inside, able to pick up 2. Zed going huge for the squad in the final moments of this game. Who's going to come out on top, Joe?
I thought it was Formal's nade that was going to be the deciding factor, but Zed, he buys his team time. Only 11 seconds needed. Envoy's going on a flank through top L. You can see he's influencing spawn. So you have Envoy cutting off one side of the map, and where he's spawning Paris. They're cutting off the rest of Huntsmen and Zed's connect.
Oh no!
Spawns don't matter at this point. I mean, they do for later on, but you have to get in if you're Chicago.
You got to get in, but they could very well matter. I mean, this goes to another hard point. Legion should have it in the bag, but yeah, somebody could close it out here, and that somebody could be the Huntsmen. 5 more points needed. Legion have to surge on in. They just have to get it to Tire Shop. They somehow have to get it through to Tire Shop, but they can't do it. Huntsmen get in. They close it out inside. They close out the series with a 3-1 victory, taking both of the hard points. But my God, if you are Legion, you're going to have nightmares about those docks holds.
They weren't even holds, just dock rotations. I mean, like, just the way you play dock. So overall, even game 1, how good did they play Azir Cave up until a certain point, right? Like, there was just a few plays in their hard point, and that's what we talk about with this game when you're making roster changes and everybody have to be on the same point, because those costly mistakes, well, they're costly, Clint, plain and simple. You lose the series because of it.
Well, I guess you were right not to be worried at the end. When I saw the flip, I was like, if they can just hold on and contest this long enough, they're winning this game. Like,
I
thought it was going to get the Tire Shop, but yeah, there was like, what, 25 points?
Yep.
I thought it was going to maybe get the Tire Shop, but like, if it gets the Tire Shop, they're smoked.
Agreed, but yeah.
Huntsmen don't let it get there. They don't let it get there. And Luca, I mean, he goes what? He goes off for 40 and 24. Pristini, not a great map statistically. He's 22 and 37, but I don't know if you're going to care right now as long as they're getting the map victories. I mean, he's never been the guy that's really dropped bombs statistically, but he had a really slow start too. What, like 4 and 16?
Yeah, it's just not. I mean, you heard him in the interview. He needs to be around like a 0.85, a 0.9, and I think 22 and 37 will get you by this. But when we talk about in their next round, if they face OpTic or your Minnesota Røkkr, that's where the caution becomes a little bit worrying, right? But yeah, they get through that.
Who cares?
Yeah, right. You get through today, you get to tomorrow. That's it. You forget about this series.
So do you have any, I guess, just high level thoughts so far on what you've seen for the new look roster for Huntsmen?
I think their strongest point from what I saw was their search. It really was. They still fundamentally have a lot of things to work on in their response.
Yeah, it looked like the opposite of what we watched with FaZe the other day. Like, they seem, we were getting so frustrated with how slow they were, and it seemed so indecisive. Like, Huntsmen looked very decisive. They were making plays in the map, and yeah, they looked excellent there on Petro. But I do want to take a look now at the scuff play of the game. It's going to be the final moments of that map 4. It was chaos inside of the point. Every team vying for position. Huntsmen in desperation mode just couldn't allow it to get to Tire Shop, and they're able to close it out. I think you highlighted Envoy, who was kind of going huge. Even though he might have been part of the reason the spawns flipped, that flank ended up being massive. Yeah,
it just feels like every single time we talk about like a big play, it seems that it's Envoy. Yeah, he got through to top L. It ended up flipping the spawns, but it gave them an opportunity to get in, and then all 5 down at the same time, which is something you never want to happen in Call of Duty happens. And Huntsmen, they get set up, and when you can get set up like that, in Paris in a time of desperation, all 5 are going to be sprinting at you. You wait for the nades to come through, and well, they're able to hold on.
Well, on the other side of it, the woes for Legion continue. Granted, they were not favored in this matchup by any stretch of the imagination, but what do they need to do if they're going to make a run this weekend?
you go back and you watch, just go watch those hard points and fix those mistakes, and you win this. You win this match. Like, really, their dom was great. If they can get their hard point fundamentally to where their domination is, they're going to be a great team. So it's just, can they make those right moves at the right times? Because some frustrating stuff.
All right, now one thing to talk about that's a little off topic with regards to the CDL stuff. It's something exciting that's going to be coming to you guys on Sunday. We know what a worldwide success Warzone has been. Joe and I have been playing it ungodly amount of hours. We've got more wins than 99.9% of the population because we're just nasty with it. But,
that's right.
Thinking about it, though, there's been a lot of tournaments going on, but we've got something special coming to you. This is going to be Warzone on Verdansk with the 12 CDL squads. Joe, this should be fun.
Yeah,
it should be awesome.
It should be a lot of fun. Winner takes home 10 grand. That's not a bad thing at all. But you get to watch the best players in the world go at it in Warzone. It should be a ton of fun.
I'm excited. Just think about a Gulag, man. Like Gulag, usually you're playing against like Bob from Kentucky. Now it's going to be Scump going up against God RX or something. It should be very, very cool what sort of players we're going to be seeing with inside the Gulag. But for now, we're going to go to a quick break. After that, it's LVP and Pristini all in the break.